So super excited to have you with us today. Sorry, I've been talking for over an hour, so I'm winded now. Crystal, are you with us?
Yes,
Okay.
hello. How are you? Happy Monday. Can you hear me okay? Are you okay? Awesome. Great. I literally just landed in Louisiana. I landed in New Orleans. And I just made it to the hotel just in time to set up. So bags are always packed. Thank you so much for that intro, Rachel. For those of you who are here, let's share the room because today we're going to talk about accountability. How are we going to stay accountable to ourselves, our health, our dreams, our goals, and also how the heck do we hold our loved ones and the people around us accountable? So let's share the room. Let's get some stuff going on in the chat. If you're here on Facebook or LinkedIn or over on YouTube, wherever you're at, because I'm all over the place right now, definitely engage. And I want to hear from you. What are your dreams? What are your goals? What are you going after? Because we're not going to sleep on our dreams anymore. Life is too short and we need to go after the dang thing. And so if you are new to hearing my beautiful voice on Mondays in Health is Wealth and Breakfast with Champions and over in the Health is Wealth community and all the socials, I'm Crystal Laura Cruz with Cruz Beyond Limits Consulting. I'm a life, fitness, and business accelerator. And I'm on a mission to empower you to put yourself and your health first for just 34 minutes a day so we can reduce the stress and overwhelm of life and live a more fulfilling life. And this is challenging. And this is why we need community and connection, because when we have to hold ourselves accountable to all of the things that we have to do in a given day, life can happen. Priorities can shift. Illness, injury, someone cuts you off on the throughway. It can totally derail your entire world. And so I think it's important for us to just stick to the basics. So today I want to talk about accountability and how you can achieve your goals and set yourself up for success. And Rachel was sharing that I do vision board workshops. So I've done them in the Level Up community. I travel all over. I'm actually here in Louisiana doing a leadership training tomorrow. So it's going to be a half-day workshop. So I travel all over to do this work and help create some manageable tools to help leaders hold themselves accountable, but also how we can come together as a team, understand our strengths, some of our opportunities, and maybe some blind spots that we might have, to be able to kind of minimize some of that conflict that we have and help hold each other accountable and really just kind of make it a purpose and a mission and a very clear vision that everyone is on board. And so this could be in your team, this could be in your household, this could be just with your coworkers, maybe your business team, maybe it's your friends group, but we still have to hold ourselves accountable, but we all play roles, leadership roles in the areas of our life that we have. So what I want us to do is just kind of go back to basics here today. And I want us to set some clear, manageable goals and manageable timelines. So I'm going to give you the 8 pillars of my life that I love to share. And this is just going to be a snapshot of the vision board workshop. So I have created a lot of different tools, such as my Crystal Clear Life Planner. I also have the habit tracker. So if you want my free habit tracker, go and click the link above. It's a 30-day challenge to help you track your progress and track your goals. But so if you have a notebook nearby, I'm going to take you through the 8 pillars real quick. And I want you to jot down, what is one thing that you can do in this area of your life? Because the first step in holding yourself accountable and going after your dreams and goals is actually visualizing, what are my dreams and goals? What am I going after? Because otherwise we're going to let life happen. We're going to let other people's priorities take over. And I love to use the body and our life as a vehicle, and a lot in my programs as an acronym. So I need you to put yourself in the driver's seat. You have an open road. All right. So you have the choice to be able to design the life that you desire. So you're in the driver's seat. Okay. And if you feel like you're like hanging on by a dear thread and you're maybe like hanging on to the trunk or the bumper of your car right now, I want to empower you to put yourself in the driver's seat. And this is going to be the first step, because we need to start to envision the next level version of you. Okay. This isn't going to happen with Netflix and, sitting on the couch watching, endless amounts of Netflix. It's going to take some action, and we're going to have to hold each other accountable. So now's the time. Get in the driver's seat. Let's go. All right. So if you have a notebook nearby, I'm going to take you through the 8 pillars real quick. I want you to think about each area of your life. And I want you to think about one thing that you can improve in this area. Just one small thing. Okay. So of course, I'm a health and fitness coach. So the first pillar or area of your life that I want you to think about is health and fitness. Okay. So step 1, we're going to set some clear, manageable goals. So what can we do perhaps in the next 90 days or 6 months? Okay. So now we're at the end of July. It's the last day of July. What can we do in the next 6 months? Right. So if you think about on December 31st, New Year's Eve, the clock is about to strike midnight. What are you going to be proud of that you were able to accomplish? Okay. So in your health and fitness, I want you to think about your movement. Yes. Are you moving your body? Are you getting at least 30 minutes of movement in every single day? All right. So I want you to kind of score yourself too as you go along, like at a score of 1 to 5, 5 being the happiest you are in this area of your life, and 1 being the least happy you are in this area of your life. Literally score yourself, because the way that we hold ourselves accountable is by tracking our progress and by reflecting and using this data as feedback so that we're constantly evolving and growing in our own pursuit of what is setting ourselves on fire, right? So right now you're in the driver's seat. You get to choose. All right. How's your sleep? How's your movement? How's your hydration? Are you drinking at least half your body weight in ounces per day? And how's your nutrition? Are you eating clean? Are you eating to fuel your body? Or are we starving ourselves? Or are we going on, fad diets? And I did a Fox News radio tour last Monday, right before the show. And, I was interviewed by 8 different people on, hey, what's your take on fad diets and pills and this Ozempic and this pill, this berberine that is supposed to be a quick fix? I'll tell you, there is no replacement for the discipline of your nutrition, your hydration, and your movement, and then holding yourself accountable each and every day. And this stuff is tough, and I'm still working on it every single day. My bags are always packed. I'm like, I need something in my belly right now. I got some snacks here. I have Sienna here. She's helping me out, right? So we ask for help. We don't miss meals. We make sure that we know what our body needs to fuel it so that it can work at its optimum performance. Otherwise, you're going to be in the trunk. Other people are going to take over your priority list. So we need to set some manageable goals with regards to our health and fitness. So are you going to go to bed at 10? Like, what do you need to set yourself up for success? So a lot of times the clients that I work with, they're like, oh, I want to wake up early and work out with you. But then we start talking about their evening routine and their alcohol consumption, or, that they stay up and watch Netflix all day, all night. And, they fall asleep on the couch. I'm getting the red bar. So can someone make sure, hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm just going to turn on the Wi-Fi here. Cool. All right. So when it comes to health and wellness, pick one thing. Okay. So we're going to do that. And here is, hang on one second. Do you have the Wi-Fi, please? Thank you. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I'm getting the red bar. So give me 1 second. We love technology. 1, 2, 5, 7, C. Someone's unmuted. Would you like to speak?
It's Jessica. Hear you.
You can? Okay, awesome. Thank you, Jessica. All right, cool. I wish I could see all your beautiful faces, but yeah, here we go. Okay, so health and fitness. Hopefully you set a clear, manageable goal. and a timeline. Okay, you can hear me. Cool. Thank you so much. This is part of feedback, right? So we have to create some manageable goals. What can you do consistently? Not a quick fad diet or something you're just going to do for a week and then fall off. What can you effectively do as a long-term lifestyle? Okay, so this is very important. Okay, that's number one. Number two is your career or maybe your business. Okay, so maybe you have a full-time job right now, and maybe you want to start a business, or you have a side hustle, or maybe you aspire to be an entrepreneur or an author or a speaker or a coach or a mentor. All right, you have to actually work on it. There is no silver platter that's going to show up at your house and be like, hey, here's your 6-figure business. No, like, where are you in the pursuit? And if you're here in this room, listening to this message, hopefully that is you're working towards the dreams and goals that you desire. So hopefully that's not a 1 right now. Okay. So, but this is where we have to be honest and hold ourselves accountable to, all right, what goals do we have? Do we need to join the Level Up Challenge? Like, this is huge. The Level Up community is amazing. So if you haven't joined, like, send me a message, send Rachel a message. Let's talk about it. What are your dreams and goals for your business? Let's start where you're at. Don't try to be where you're not. Bloom where you're planted. I always say, whether you're in your health and fitness journey or in your business journey or your career, start where you're at. I had a conversation earlier because we're prepping for this leadership training for tomorrow. The client that I'm working with, they were talking about the dynamics, and there's someone in the office that is kind of trying to project that they know more than they really do, and they're really afraid to ask for help. And I find this a lot. It's like they have this front of like there's this confidence and almost borderline cockiness because they're not humble enough to ask for help. And they set this big bar for themselves, and they want to be perfect, and they want to be on. And maybe that's been the way that they grew up. Maybe that's their personality. That's what they're just used to operating at this level. And when they show up at a job or on a team, and you're expected to work with others and play nice, there's this level of kind of entitlement that kind of comes into play. So that's what I see. And a lot of times it's because there's a fear. There's a fear that we are going to be judged, or people are going to find out that we don't know it all. And this is what I like to call the messy middle. Show up in your messy middle. Ask for help. Get coached. Get mentored. Be humble. And say, you know what? I don't know it all. I have like 5 coaches right now for all different areas of my life because I don't have it all figured out. I don't know it all. And I don't want to pretend to know it all. But I'll tell you, for a long time, I did. For a long time, I just kept going and going and going and operating at a high level, high performer, just going and going and going. And it wasn't until I started to stop and smell the roses and say, like, hey, what is really going on? What can I do? And what can I ask for help with? Because I'm trying to do a whole lot of things, and I'm doing a whole lot of things, but I'm not doing a whole lot of things great. I could do 1 or 2 really great things really great. But the truth is that we got to ask for help. And that has been a game changer for me. That's how I'm able to be everywhere and do all the things that I do, because I'd be able to put process and procedures and milestones and things in place, these tools and people in place to be able to move through my business, move through my career. But it starts with you asking for help and recognizing, doing this reflection of like, hey, what can I do right now with what I've got? I may not have it all figured out yet, but I'm willing to try. So what can you do in your career or in your business to maybe ask for help? Reach out. How can you delegate? What can you delegate? And then when you think about your career and where you're at, if tomorrow or 2 weeks from now were your last days, would you be happy with the level of effort and the intensity at which you operated and the consistency in which you operated? If that answer is no, it's time. Because we're not sleeping anymore. We're not sleeping on our dreams. We're going after them. So if you're stuck in this hamster wheel of your process and your system, and it's a Groundhog Day every day, and you're not happy with that, then it's time. Let's go. There's got to be something else. And so sometimes getting into community and saying your goals out loud, that's a game changer. So I want you to practice this. Post in the chat, post in the comments, right? Put it out there. What are you working for? What are you working? Are we working to live? Or are we working to continuously work and burn out? So what do you want? Is it financial freedom? Do you want to spend more time with your family? Like, what is it that you want? Post it in the comments, because guess what? The people in this community are amazing and they're going to help you. So you have to bloom where you're planted. And so now's the time to do it and practice in this space. All right. So the next pillar of our life is spirituality. Okay. So maybe you're a Christian, maybe you believe in God, maybe you believe in multiple gods, or whatever you believe in. I want you to attach yourself to the core values that you have. And maybe it's faith, maybe it's family, maybe it's teamwork, maybe it's love, accountability, support. Like, what are the pillars that drive you? For me, it's fitness, both mental and physical fitness. It's community, and it's a proper mindset. So those are my 3 pillars. Those are my non-negotiables. So basically, you come into my world, this is what you see. I'm going to talk about mental and physical fitness, overall emotional and physical fitness and wellness. Your mindset, positive, forward-moving mindset, not victim mode. And then getting into community. So when you can attach yourself to a mission and a purpose, something bigger than yourself, you put yourself in a role model mindset. Okay. So when you think about spirituality, what can you do in this area? Maybe if you have a relationship with God or whatever you believe in, how much time do you spend on that to be able to move and grow through that relationship? Now, what I find is that when I work with a lot of my clients, if there is one of these pillars, or one of these, what I like to call buckets or pillars of your life, if one of them is empty, it's going to pour into the other areas of your life. So if one is kind of lacking and you haven't paid attention to it in a while, such as your health and fitness, something is going to happen in your life, and it's going to remind you to pay attention to this thing. Or when there's stress and struggle and overwhelm in your life, start to think about, what haven't I paid attention to? And I'll tell you, a lot of my clients that are Christian and believers of God, when they're stressed and overwhelmed and they have anxiety and maybe they're slipping into a depression, one of the first questions I ask, other than movement and hydration and their nutrition, is, when was the last time you had a relationship with God? Right? And what's your relationship with God right now? Many times we turn and we try to take it on, take the whole world on ourselves and put the burden, and it's all on us. So think about your spirituality. What are your core values? What are you going after? And what can you connect yourself to that's bigger than you? And what can you put in God's hands or the universe that you don't have to carry that burden? And just have faith. Have faith and trust that you have a set of values and faith that you are going after. You have one direction. That is your GPS. Okay? So that's your spirituality. The next one is your relationships. So I want you to set some clear goals. What's one thing you can do? Okay? So in your relationships, maybe this is your children. Maybe it's your spouse. Maybe it's your coworker or business partner. Or maybe it's a friend or a distant cousin. Or maybe it's a family member. We all have relationships in our life that we not only need to foster, okay, so cultivate and, really work on that relationship, the good ones, but also we have some not so good ones in our life, the relationships that we need to maybe fix. All right. So we need to commit to a dialogue and maybe fix some relationships in our life. And then the third F of relationship, we might need to find a new relationship. So if you have some negativity in your life, if you have some the relationships that you're just not feeling right about the people that are in your circle right now, we might need to find some new people to put in our circle. If you know what I'm saying. All right. So here is the time to really say, okay, who can I find and add to my network? Okay. So who's missing? Is it a coach? Is it a mentor? Is it like a positive attitude? Right? Who can we find? Is it like maybe it's someone that from your childhood that you just had these great memories from, and you're like, hey, I want to give them a call. I just had so many great memories. It's time to bring their energy back. Okay. So, but if you need a great community, reach out, like post in the comments, because this is a supportive, non-judgmental community. We're all going after our dreams and goals. Okay. So relationships. Also, the relationship that you have with yourself is so important. Okay. So, okay, I'm hearing some. Okay, so we're from Pakistan. We're from all over. Make sure you shout out where you're tuning in from. Okay, I'd love to hear from you. Cool. So remember the relationship that you have with yourself. Remember in the beginning, my mission is to help empower you to put yourself and your health first for just 34 minutes a day. So if you were to put yourself and set goals for 2 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes of movement, and 2 minutes of reflection at the end of every day, that's 34 minutes of you, a relationship with you. And we all have 1,440 minutes in a day. 34 minutes of that is 2% of your day. 2%, right? And so if you can manage and really foster that relationship with yourself, continue that feedback loop, that you're creating that momentum for yourself, you're giving yourself the ultimate gift. Okay. So, so when you think about relationships, a lot of time it's really easy to think about other people and the relationships that we have with everyone else, and we forget about ourselves. So this is your free ticket. Like, give yourself the gift and blame it on me. Hey, Crystal said, I must put myself first for 34 minutes a day. And the people that do it, oh my gosh, they're so much happier and more vibrant and more energetic. Your family, your coworkers, your spouse, your children, they will love you more. I promise you. 34 minutes is not that long. They will survive. The business is not going to fall. The building isn't going to fall over for you just putting yourself first for 34 minutes a day. I promise you. Okay. Next one, social and leisure. Speaking of the relationship with yourself, when was the last time you did something that brought you joy? What is your hobby? One of the things one of the biggest questions I love to ask, in a classroom full of leaders is, what are your hobbies? And many times people are like, oh, I don't have time for hobbies. I have children. Or I used to hunt. I used to fish. I used to travel. I used to go for runs. I used to be an athlete. I used to. I hate hearing that, because at the end of the day, if we are putting other people's priorities before something that brings you joy, that brings a smile to your face every day, you're worth it. And so, and this is where the boundaries come in. This is where sharing with your dreams and goals with your loved ones and saying, how can we make this happen? I just spent an entire weekend with my husband in Atlanta. He grew up just outside of Atlanta, and he had his 20-year high school reunion, right? It was all about him and just going back to his hometown and just seeing the light in his eyes through the lens of what is bringing him joy. It was whatever restaurant he wanted to go to that brought him back memories that he used to go to. I mean, it was not healthy food, I'll tell you that. And like, but it brought a smile to his face. Like it brought him joy to go back to those spaces and those places and around those people that, you know, he has so many great memories with. He could have easily said, no, we're not going to go to that. You know, we're too busy. You know, I'm not going to do that. We went to see his dad. We went to his old high school, his football field. Like we drove past the places, you know, like if that brings you joy and brings you back to places and spaces that gives you good memories, do more of that. Maybe it's hiking, maybe it's traveling, maybe it's going to the beach. Like think about what used to bring you joy. And these are really great indicators to start to implement some of that. And just say, hey, you know, and this is why I love working with couples. I love working with teams because I get to just open up a conversation around, hey, what brings you joy? What do you like? What do you don't like? And there's no confrontation really. Like I get to just open up the conversation as in a neutral space to be like, hey, you don't have to have this awkward conversation. I get to be there to help mediate and navigate the conversation. So if you need support in this area and maybe having these difficult conversations with your teams or with your spouse or your family or even your children, like they get to see a piece of your heart, it's a game changer. And when my husband and I started doing these vision board workshops, well, I took a vision board workshop on myself, and then I started teaching them, and then I got him on board eventually. It wasn't always easy at first, right? He was like, what is this vision board stuff? And it's been a game changer because we have a neutral party, which is it's a whiteboard on our refrigerator that says, hey, where are you at in this area of your life? And we both get to neutrally have a conversation around these pillars. And this is why I love to share this, because we have to hold ourselves accountable, but we also have to say out loud what our dreams and goals are. And we can't just have them ruminating in our head all the time. And people aren't going to read our minds as to what we want to go after. We're going to start to harbor resentment and feelings and emotions in our body and our being, and it's going to come out in stress and overwhelm and anxiety and emotional hijacking is what I call, right? People are going to be so emotionally charged that they don't know what to do with their emotions. And so when we can get it out and just sort it all out, this is what I love to do. Okay, so I'm giving you tools to hopefully help give you the space to set manageable goals and just say, okay, what do I want? And if you don't even know, that's okay. This is where we need to get in community and be around other people that are going after their dreams and goals, and not just talking about what the next Netflix series is. This is next level. These are next level conversations. When you get into personal growth, it's a never ending game. We're constantly evolving and growing and finding ways to level up. Okay. So when you start to learn about the relationship that you have with others, you learn about the relationship you have with yourself too. And yes, you too, you get to. All right. So the next one, so social and leisure. What do you like to do? What's your hobby? You like to play cornhole? You like to play canasta or cards or checkers or, get out, hike? We went on a hike in Atlanta this weekend. We did a 5.5 mile hike and through this mountain. It was challenging, but my husband and I, we don't hike a lot. I've been on some hikes. We haven't done it together very often, but when we did it, we found this overlook. We found this area of a beach, and we did this 5.5 mile hike. It was in the middle of the day. It was hot. It was challenging. We weren't prepared for it. We didn't pack for it, but we did it. And we're like, wow, we really enjoy this. And now as a couple, we're like, we're going to find more areas to hike. And we just, we took some pictures and some videos and we had fun, but we were off the grid. We just talked and we laughed and we had music, and it was really great. But you sometimes don't know until you're like, hey, this is actually something I enjoy. And you say it out loud to your loved ones and the people that care. All right. So the next one is your quality of life. So if you're taking notes, I want you to think about what is your legacy and what is your quality of life? So maybe you want a nice house on the water. For me, I want to live 10 steps from the ocean. And if you've ever been in any of my on any of my socials, every time I go to the ocean, I practice those 10 steps because I put myself in the game and I know that this is what I'm going after. Okay, so I want the quality of life and my retirement, quote unquote, when it happens, I want to be able to have a legacy that I am living and impacting the lives of others virtually and living on a beach 10 steps from the ocean. So that is what I want. And I want to be able to say at the end of the day, I've empowered and I've brought the energy and I have empowered people and challenged them in a way so that they can show up powerfully for themselves, their health, their families, their business, and live vibrant, healthier, happier lives, igniting their fire. This is the legacy that I want to leave through fitness, emotional and physical fitness, mindset, positive mindset, not victimhood, and getting in a supportive community, getting vulnerable, blooming where you're planted, and going after your dreams and goals. So what is that legacy for you? You have a dream and okay, how can you move? You have a dream and plan to achieve. How can you move? All right, tell me more about that. I think it's Enger, if I'm pronouncing your name right. Okay, so think about what is your legacy? What are your values? So start to think about what are you going after? What is your legacy? And when people, when they remember you, what are they going to say about you? When you leave the room, what are the characteristics that they say about you? What is the impact that you would have? Is it I was just sitting in the corner with my AirPods on, getting, just being lazy and not doing my work? And just watching Netflix and FaceTiming and doing Snapchat filters? Or is it, hey, I made an impact. I'm a role model. I'm leaning in. I'm learning. I'm doing the things to get me to that next level. I'm taking the classes. I'm networking. I'm going to the conferences. I'm taking advantage of the opportunities that are out there. I'll tell you this opportunity for me to train came up literally Friday? Thursday. I was going to be home today. I was flying home. I totally rerouted. Yeah. Sienna was in Spain. I was in Louisville packing them, and we're like, all right, let's go. Let's do this. When the opportunity knocks, sometimes you have to move. You never know what's possible. All right. And if it aligns with your legacy and if it aligns with your dreams and goals and your values, sometimes we just got to go and say, yes, let's go for it. Okay. And we just can't sleep on our dreams. We can't. We don't have time for that. And I hope I'm igniting, if I'm piercing you and if I'm triggering you in a way, that means that we need to start to think about, maybe we need to have a conversation, and say, okay, what can I do? And sometimes it's very overwhelming. There's so much that we have to do. And there's so many competing priorities that sometimes we just need someone to help us sort it out. Okay. So for the last pillar is your finances. Okay. So this is the scariest one. And I find, especially in my own experiences, that if finances are a struggle and you're not in the front seat and you're not taking a proactive approach to your finances and you're just reactive, and then you have some struggles, right? It's going to pour into your relationships. It's going to pour into your health and fitness. It's going to pour into your mindset. It's going to pour into it's going to impact your social and leisure. It's going to impact your spirituality, your personal growth, all the things. Okay? So all of these are really intertwined. But as we dissect each one of them, start to think about what is one thing that you can do. Maybe it's one less trip to Starbucks every day. Maybe it's, doing some meal prepping, getting your groceries delivered. And this was a game changer for me. I got my groceries delivered so that times that we were struggling, my husband and I were struggling, we were like, we need to know how much we're spending on groceries. Right. And so we actually started going on Instacart. We know exactly, we built the grocery list. We knew exactly how much we were spending. Oh, and by the way, it got delivered to our house. So we didn't have to waste gas, time, and we were able to maximize our efforts and know exactly what we're getting and what's going into our cart. Because I know that I'm an impulse buyer. So that, especially at the grocery store, Aldi and Ulta, that the impulse, that impulse lane, I'm going to grab all the things that I don't need. So this is a great way to hold yourself accountable, to set these systems up for yourself. Okay, so that was just a really quick run through of the 8 pillars. Now I do these vision board workshops. They're 2 to 3 hour sessions. All right, so I did one last week. I think it was last Tuesday. It felt like it was a month ago because I travel so much. But I did it for a group, and it was just so amazing to see their dreams come alive. And they're like, oh, I need to get back to that. And if we don't intentionally set the time for ourselves to dissect, because it's all in like what I call spaghetti brain. It's all intertwined, especially us women. Like it's all up in here, like ruminating all around all these eight pillars of our life. We're trying to balance and navigate, and it's so frustrating. It's overwhelming. And then we get a phone call, and then someone cuts us off, and then we might get sick, or someone calls us and needs us to be somewhere. And then it's like, and then maybe 3 months goes by, and you're like, oh, well, there goes that fitness routine. You know, that it's like we have to just slow down and dissect this. And I'll tell you, it wasn't until I did it, and I just started my new journal. So this is the Crystal Clear Life Planner, 90-day action plan to embrace chaos and live a fulfilling life. This is on Amazon if you want this. That is, I created that. I just started a new one in the last week. And so I always carry my original mind map around. This is my original mind map. Okay, this is ugly. It's traveled with me everywhere. Okay, I had so much anxiety and spaghetti brain. I could barely have a conversation, y'all. Like, I'm telling you this, like, this is the messy middle. This is the ugly. Like, I could not, I was overwhelmed. I was grieving. I was going through an identity crisis. I was a hot mess express. And I was like, I need to map this out. I'm a visual person, and actually 86% of the population, studies show that they're visual learners. Okay, so we need to map this out. So chances are, if you're listening to this, you might need to map some of this out and get it out. All right, so this is my original mind map, and I was able to accomplish pretty much everything on here. This was my business plan, my one-page business plan for all the communities, the podcast, speaker, author. I'm actually publishing my next book, August 27th, coming out. I'm in the editing phase right now. Guess what? I got coached. I asked for help, even though I already published my planner on Amazon. I'm like, I still need help. I still need a better system. I want to do it right. And I want to shorten that time period of my self-doubt. And it'd probably take me over a year. I was telling a friend last night that my book, I literally started it 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to launch it on August 27th. Like, she's like, I thought it takes years. Yeah, sometimes it does. It'll take years if it's in your head and it never gets out onto the page or never comes out of your mouth. But it's possible. And so that is a game changer. By you mapping this out, mapping out your plans and goals, staying out loud, getting into community, asking for help. I host retreats now in Costa Rica because I phoned a friend, Sienna. I'm actually in real life with her right now. It's just so amazing. So I called her. She does event planning. Like, she's like a master like event planner, and she hosts these huge like workshops. Like, she does workshops, music festivals. She's just an incredible woman. And I knew I wanted to host this retreat, and I was like, hey, you do all this event planning. I need help. I could try to do it on my own, but I need help. And it's been a game changer. I hosted 3 retreats in Costa Rica last year. I just had one in May, and I have one more in September. Side note, there's a couple spots left. If you all want to come to Costa Rica, it's a 6-day all-inclusive immersion. It's an experience to set goals, map this out, map out your life, map out your healthy habits. What are you going after? Set some achievable goals. Do it in a safe space and in a community. Okay. So I know I just ran through a lot with the 8 pillars of your life, but if you were to think about just like start taking action today. And sometimes that's just hitting www.google.com. YouTube is a beautiful thing. Ask for help. Send me a message. Let's map this out. And I hate to say this, don't wait. Don't wait for an injury or a loved one, or the scare of an illness or death. My mission is to help empower you to not wait until it's too late. My grandmother is in the hospital right now. For those of you who are prayer warriors, she literally broke her tailbone yesterday. And she's in the hospital right now. We don't know. I'm praying for her. Like, it's not easy. But sometimes it's something like that. It's like, oh my gosh, I haven't talked to her in a month. So where are you in your life? Are we waiting till it's too late? Are we waiting for a shock? Are we waiting for an injury? Are we waiting for that thing to finally wake us up? Or can we take a proactive approach? And nobody's perfect. We're all trying to navigate this thing called life. Okay. So thank you, Annette. Oh my gosh, so great. It's so good to see you here. Okay. So we're going to map this out. 8 pillars: health and fitness, career, personal growth, spirituality, relationships, social and leisure, quality of life, and your finances. So pick one small thing that you can just move the needle just a little bit in each area of your life. Don't neglect one and then overcompensate in others, because that's typically what happens. And if you need support, let me know. I just want to call attention to the habit tracker, because what we track is what we're going to have progress on. Okay, so if we're just floating through life and we're not tracking, my free habit tracker, it's a 30-day habit tracker challenge where it's a free download where you can say, all right, I want to read for 10 minutes every day. I want to make sure I go to bed by 10. I want to have present moments with my husband or my children. Maybe you want to clean a room once a day, whatever you get to fill it out, right? And then you get to track your progress each and every day. When we track, our body and our brain and our nervous system keeps track of the times that you're doing the things that are going after your dreams and goals and that are getting you that much closer. So that momentum is that consistency, that feeling and that momentum that breeds more results, that breeds more excitement. So the motivation just doesn't show up. We have to have tools. I know for me, I literally have to set things up so that I trip over them. Okay, like my workout gear, I set everything out the night before. So I literally hop right into it or I trip over it. I have to set myself up for success. So you have to know yourself. You have to track your progress. And then evaluate, is what I'm doing working? Or do I need to find someone in my life to help me? Do I need a mentor? Do I need to find someone that's doing, like, everyone's like, Crystal, I don't know how you do it. I'm like, some days I don't either, but I just create a lot of systems, right? So if you travel, you want to you're busy, you want quick hacks, you want some systems, you want some good snacks, healthy snacks. In the group fitness, the Cruise Beyond Limits virtual HIIT camp, we have an accountability chat that's been going nonstop all day long. Yesterday it was all about healthy snacks. And everyone's like, oh, wow, I didn't think about that. We're sharing smoothie recipes. We're sharing, different, granola bars, things that we can have at our fingertips. Sometimes we get in our own head and in our own system, and we forget that there could be something else out there that can help us move quicker. Okay, so track your results. Get in community. All right, so the community is key, because we can be in our own head and we can even write our stuff down. This is the habit tracker, by the way. So if you can make sure you click the link above. It's free. You can download it, and then you'll get some messages in your inbox too. Okay, so but you can do all this and hold yourself accountable. But it's unfortunately, I feel like a lot of people fall off if they don't have someone else to hold themselves accountable. Okay. And if you're like me and pretty much everyone else on the planet, we're going to hold ourselves accountable if we know someone else is going to be there. If we know that we're going to disappoint someone, if we don't show up, or if we don't do what we say we're going to do, or if we know that they're going to ask us about our dreams and goals, or how those workouts doing. Hey, you said you were going to go on a health kick and get your nutrition back up. How's that working out? So chances are, if you're on a roller coaster, if you're on this merry-go-round and you're doing the same thing and you're getting the same results, that's the definition of insanity, right? So it's time to move. So get into a community, find a mentor, I have a free community too. So feel free to join me, send me a message. Let's just connect. Let's talk about your goals. Stop sleeping on your goals. Don't wait till it's too late. I promise you. I've seen it. I see it happen all the time. And a lot of times people call me when it's like, they're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And they were just enough of trying to do all the things. And they're like, okay, so maybe that's you right now. Send me a message. Let's connect. Okay. So we need that external support also for motivation and celebration. We get to honor each other and connect. We're human beings. We're not robots. We're meant to connect with each other. So, and you never know. You never know who you're inspiring by showing up, by sharing, by being vulnerable, by sharing your messy middle, by sharing your quick tips and tricks, or maybe a lesson that you've been through. This is the power. Okay, so I'm going to yield my mic here. I have a couple more minutes, so we have to close the room. I see Kimberly's up on stage, Dr. Emerald, Jessica, Tash. Hello. Anybody care to share or have questions? I'm going to check in with the chat here. Feel free to unmute. Let's see. Suzanne, let's see. Wants to share. Hello. Hey, Tash.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, great. Yep. Suzanne first, then Tash.
Thank you. I was just going to say, okay, first for Grandma, how it is to have a family member in the hospital. So, yeah, first for Grandma.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really appreciate the things you were saying this morning. A little fire for me. I was thinking this morning, what I've been doing it works, but it's not working the way I want to. So it is definitely that, okay, time to reassess. What do I need to change? And, I'm not really getting ready for the day until like noon because I'm staying up late. And then I'm doing the workout. I'm eating. I just made a smoothie. I even put it in my story, actually. I'm doing the things, but my time of day has shifted toward, until 2 in the morning, and then so then I sleep later. I don't really like that. It's fun at the moment, but I'm trying to reel it back in it because it does affect my day. And I love the idea that you are doing the Costa Rica thing and making it a fun way to kind of reset, rethink. And I appreciate just like the fun, the boost, and the positivity. And yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much, Suzanne. I just gave you a follow over on Instagram. Let's definitely stay connected. Yeah. And you know what? Let me just maybe share a tip for you. A lot of times people that stay up late, you get into that rhythm and that routine. Try 15-minute increments. So just do 15 minutes, and that way, like, it's not such a shock to your system, and you're not like, oh, I was laying in bed, like, when, with your mind running, right? So if you just do 15-minute increments, and that's with anything, like, so I'm a marathon runner and an ultra marathon runner. So as, my coach has always shared with me, this is where I got it from, is like, drink something or eat something, then wait 15 minutes. So if you do too much too quick, that's where the start and stop mentality comes, because you don't know what's working, what's not. So hopefully that helps.
That makes sense. Yeah, no, I think I worked really hard yesterday to set myself up for the week. I did the laundry, cleaned the kitchen, did the dishes. I even did some meal prep. I was super excited. My goal was to go to bed like 11:30 midnight. And then I got like started binge watching Love Island.
Okay.
But, when I think deeper about it, when I think deeper about it, honestly, I don't want to go to bed because it feels lonely. I'm single for the first time in my life this last year, and so it's just hard to face that, I think. And so sometimes that's just like being vulnerable, trying. But it's like the want, right? What do I want more? Do I want? I did want to set myself up for a great week, good day. So it's keeping that why in front, I guess.
Yeah, Suzanne, thank you so much for sharing and being vulnerable in this space. I know, very courageous. And so thank you. Let's definitely chat offline. But I have some more questions and tips. I'm happy to chat with you. But I do know that your sleep hygiene, someone asked me what sleep hygiene was last week. Your sleep hygiene, if you think about it, like when we're lacking sleep, that's when we're most irritable. That's when we're not making the best decisions, especially with our nutrition, and just our emotions are kind of all over the place. We don't make good decisions when we're lacking sleep. And so if you put it into perspective of like, okay, I need this so that I can be on and be more energetic to attract the right next partner in my life, for instance, or I think your why, if you just shift it maybe and you just tell yourself that story, that might help.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here. Happy Monday. Okay, we have 2 more minutes till I have to close the room. Tasha, did you have something you wanted to share?
Hey, so thank
Hi.
you so much for your wonderful statement. Hey, you know what? I was actually going to talk about what Suzanne just mentioned, a bit of sleep, because I asked this question. I think it was Amelia, and it's sort of been torn between the last few years. Well, for years, I'm always a night owl, and everyone else around me wakes up so early. And well, I'm in the UK, as you know, so when you guys are starting 5 o'clock, this room at 5 o'clock, it's 10 a.m. for me, so I don't wake up at 5. Even 6 is stretching it, so I can only just about do 6. So I try to sort of be the early bird, and I've gone back to the night owl. So how can I counter that in a way that I'll be productive as a night owl, or do I have to train myself and retrain, or and sort of become like everyone else, like an early bird as opposed to a night owl? So yeah, that's what I wanted to ask.
Yeah. No, that's great. And I only have like 2 seconds to respond because I have to close the room. But I will say that, you can train your body, you can train your brain, and your body and your nervous system. It just takes a while, right? And a lot of times people quit before they start to feel and they see results. But let's definitely chat because I know there are internal clocks as well. And depending on the amount of travel, I know like Sienna, my friend here, she lives in Spain, but we're here. Like, so her system is all over the place. And I'm sure yours is as well, because you're trying to navigate in multiple worlds. And that's where I think the end of the day, your non-negotiables of your fitness routine, your nutrition, your hydration, and the amount of sleep to do what you can with what you've got. And then just know what you're going after. I think, let's definitely have a sidebar conversation. I don't want to get in trouble here. So I got to close the room. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Happy Monday. And we'll see you here tomorrow on Breakfast with Champions. And I'll see you in the Health is Wealth community next Monday at noon Eastern Standard Time. Make it a great day, everyone. Cheers.
Thanks, guys.